Okay. Let's see. What should we work on today? I was thinking about opening up the Punic, but I haven't worked on the Spirit of Fire model in a hot minute, and I deleted the old one I had because all the work I'd done on it became completely useless and moot. So I think I'm gonna get a fresh one and then work on it from there. So I think I'm probably gonna use KRP's model and then really edit the hell out of it, because it's a lot nicer than the old model I had, but it's got a lot of extra bits that I don't need, so I'm probably just gonna do that. Okay. Wait for that to download. Let's see. Hold on. Is that done downloading? It is. I'm gonna move these over to my documents folder and then just shove them in there. Okay. So this is the armor. This armor is gonna be in the game. Oh boy, if it loads. Let's hope Blender doesn't crash. Oh man, running all this stuff. I wonder how my CPU's doing on this computer without a extra GPU. I can tell my shit's lagging real bad. God, it's like I'm opening up the creation kit. I haven't even done anything yet. Nope, not responding. No, it's gonna. I'm telling you, it's gonna crash. I'm trying to open up this model for this ODST kit bash that I really like, and it's just not. It does not want to work. Well, something's loading. Hey! have something. Hey, there we go. Oh, the delay. Oh, it's a mess. Man, it is really struggling to try and keep this loaded well. Anyway, this is a it's an infinite asset, but like although they're probably using a mix of different games assets and then just updated it with infinite textures and things like that. It's a kit bash made to be done in a very specific style, but there is, let's see, the arm torso attachments. Oh, there's quite a bit going on here. Okay. What happens if I remove that? That doesn't do anything. Chest plates. Okay, here we go. Where was the one? Oh, they're all disabled by default. We'll do these one at a time. There's a specific one that I really like. Not that one. Not that one. Sacrifice. There we go. I really like this armor plate style for the chest. But just for funsies, let's take a look. Oh no, the model itself is probably actually, in all actuality, this is probably like a 2 scale model. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, 1.32 meters. Yeah. No, that's a 1.032 scale. Point 0.171 meters, maybe? I don't know. Oh, and the lag again. The model comes from the archive. Let's see. The model was uploaded by and created by, probably. I can't actually see because I'm in streamer mode, but you guys shouldn't be able to see the Discord, so... Squeak Grenade. That's who made the ODST Reach style kit bash. With help from Band, Suki, Evok, and Chiefster, and Zang, it looks like. Let's see here. It said there were faces, but I don't see anything for faces. Unless I'm completely blind. or scale differently than Starfield. Maybe. You know, I don't know how to set scale for items straight from Blender to Starfield CK. I don't know if you have to like set the scale specifically in Blender so it shows up in the CK the right way. I know I know CK has its own scaling tools. When I was doing it, I was doing stuff through NifScope, and NifScope had scaling tools. I wanted to see these other chest pieces real quick. Oh, so that's a basic little strap piece right there. Not very. What's the infinity rig? Oh, that's like the SPI armor stuff. But this one, and then let's see. Let's see if they've got some of the other shoulder pads. Let's see, so that'd be the right one I'd want to edit. Or maybe the left one? I don't remember which one Romeo has that has the sniper arm. I think it's his right one. Let's see. Sorry, I have my chat pulled up on my phone because I don't know how to have it set up to where I can look at it on my screen and also do this without swapping between display screen like tabs. So yeah, this comes in a lot of different parts, lots of different mesh pieces. And I know Starfield does their stuff not too dissimilar from this. When I was looking at armor stuff in Starfield, like when you're looking at the mesh nifs and all that, it's in a bunch of different pieces. Plus, I can just select specific models and upload them as pieces, or select a bunch of different stuff and then upload that as a specific object or save it as a different file and all that. Let's look at helmets for this thing real quick. Oh, hold on, there's a Mirage one. What's that look like? Oh, those little blunt looking ones, yeah. Yeah. Kind of looks like security shoulders, I think, from Halo 3. So let's edit the right one. And let's turn that off. Disable these so we can do them one at a time. I'm not working on this right now. This is I am talking to someone who just joined in the server about coming and helping out with armor stuff. But male and female body blender template. Yeah. Basic materials and import morphs instead to be used as a template for armor clothing mashups. With clothing ports for NIF mesh import. Yeah, that'll be super useful. I don't know how old this is. I don't remember this being around when I was looking at doing armor stuff. So Let's see. Get rid of that one. See what you look like. Oh, and there comes the lag again. I don't know if it lags my voice when Blender tries to load in or not. Ooh, that's kind of sick with the brute skull. That'll be nice to make. I think these are all part of that whatever it's called, armor base from Halo Infinite. Something with an R, I think, like Rakas or Rikas or something like that. I don't know, anyone who's played Halo Infinite lately might be able to tell me. That's the security shoulder. That's from Halo Reach as well. Yeah. They don't have like any of the interesting ones from Halo 3 ODST. The different shoulder plates that Mickey and Romeo have. But there's probably another ODST pack that has those, and I'll probably use those as well. If I can find like a decent quality of them. I'm not sure. I don't remember if it was Nova Finch or somebody else that did a Helljumpers mod for Fallout 4. It was before all the other Halo armor mods and stuff like that came out from either Nova or from Kel. The Infinite Armory and all those other ones. But it was just different ODST armors from Halo 3 ODST, like that style, and then some other little extra bits, like a hidden bunker underneath the castle and all that. Was it Nova Finch who did the Helljumpers mod? That sounds like something that was up his alley. Yeah, Infinite Armory was from Kel. And I think he had another one. No, he had several other armor mods. A bunch of different Spartan and Marine armor mods and stuff. Yeah. I swear there was another armor mod that Nova did. Or maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. I don't remember. I know Kel worked with somebody else on one of those armor mods. I don't remember who. Do not remember at all. I wonder what other helmet stuff they have. Because there's a specific ODST style helmet that they have in Halo Infinite that I actually really rather like. I'm gonna put back on that skull one. I really like that, especially like for early on in the war, given that brutes were one of the primary combatants, and that they were the first species that humanity encountered after the jackals and then the grunt. They were the first ones on Harvest. Part of the peace delegation, that shit show that went sideways. Yeah, let's look at helmets. Let's invisible. I'll get rid of the attachments for now. Oh, this is a recipe for disaster. Atreus! I know that's not what it says, but... Boy!
You gotta go deeper.
I can't, my voice cannot get that deep at all. Oh yeah, this is that that main one. It's supposed to kind of be an ODST helmet. I know a lot of people like this. I'm not too big of a fan. I don't know what it is specifically. There's just something that's off. I don't know if it's this protruding bit or the visor style. I don't know. It's kind of all of the things, really. This one looks a lot nicer. This one looks more like a ODST helmet. I'll have to look at the like the in-lore timeline for this helmet, see if I can't find when this design was created, and if it existed before the post-war stuff. This one's really cool. This one, like when you look head-on on it, it's got that ODST silhouette going on. Then it's got this weird, like it's just cut off here. Very odd. Not terrible, just interesting. Very, very odd. Then of course you have Recon. But it's looks different from the Halo 3 one. I don't remember, what does the Halo 3 Recon helmet look like? Halo 3 Recon helmet. I don't know why, it just feels off for some reason. The newer helmets. Oh, hold on, would you send me there? Oh, Commando. That's just what I need. An influx of, you know, experienced modders to come in and judge me. I'm gonna cry. Air Assault is supposed to be technically a kind of ODST helmet. But it always felt weird to me. Like, it's a good helmet design, you know, obviously it's Cat's helmet, and it's part of the sister ODST program, like all the different things that came on after it. But for me, it's this one, or I think I may end up going with this one. Just that more blocky aesthetic to match the chest plates. And then, let's see. Oh, they really only have the one backpack then. Well, that's a little upsetting, but... I don't know why it's got its own subgroup if it only has the one pack, but... whatever. Still looks good. I like it. Honestly, I might use this with the standard ODST getup for most of the ODST armors. It depends on like the quality of different stuff I can find. Like if it's too much of a disparage in quality between this and other, like, you know, the traditional ODST style. There's some really good Halo 2 Anniversary ODST armors and kit bashes that look really good, that have the classic Halo 2 ODST style to them. This is, I think, technically the undersuit with the rig is Spartan armor. I think it's from the whatever Recos or whatever it's called, the armor loadout from Halo Infinite. But it's a kit bash that someone made, so it's got all the different, like, it's primarily just meant to look like ODST from Halo 3 and Halo 3 ODST meets Halo Infinite, kind of. So it's got, you know, this is obviously a Halo Infinite helmet, Halo Infinite chest plate, Halo Infinite shoulder plate, and then I think a lot of these, like the butt pack and some other accessories, are also from Halo Infinite. But it's meant to look like a cross between Halo Reach, Halo 3, ODST, and Infinite. Kind of like a happy medium between all of them. But as for, like, yeah. See, like, if I get rid of that, and then if I give the original ODST helmet back to it, you know, it's that same silhouette. But I like this blockier ODST style chest plate. Looks really sick. And this helmet's called Firefall. There were some other ODST helmets, I think, in Halo Infinite. Like, I'm pretty sure some of these other ones are supposed to be ODST type helmets. But I think this one and then the original one from the Reach armor pack in Halo Infinite are the ones I like the best. The Halo 2 Anniversary ODSTs are their Halo 2 style ODSTs. So, hold on. Let me... Don't save. We're going to let this open for 127 hours. And then I'm going to go back over to Discord and grab the Halo 2 Anniversary armor. And then I'll show it to you in the Discord server so you can see what I'm talking about. Also, fun fact, technically, Hellbringers... Oh, there's a different one. Oh, so the one I'm using, I think, is the Macab ODST kit bash, and then Squawk Grenade has another one. I'll do that, download that stuff later. And then Strider has a really nice modular ODST pack, and that's got a bunch of different stuff. That has armor from Fireteam Raven, from the arcade game, Halo arcade game. And it also has the Halo 2 Anniversary style and Halo 3 ODST style ODST stuff. This is probably, now that I'm looking at this is probably the one I'll use for most of the NPCs that are ODSTs. So let me I'm gonna copy this image, and I'm gonna post it in the general chat on the server. So, oh wow, this is taking forever. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's right. Something happened and it looked messed up. Oh, crap. I'm gonna turn the textures off on that. Jesus. I'll be taking that. Okay, so Michael, if you look in the general chat, general Halo, the middle ODST in that picture, that is the Halo 2 Anniversary ODST. Let me actually real quick. Let me go to. Yeah, that's what they look like for Halo 2 Anniversary. Still a good design. I mean, a lot of people like that. That's like their favorite Halo ODST helmet. But you can see it's a drastic change from that to the other ODST helmets we get in Halo 3 onward. Now I have to figure out real quick why this Spirit of Fire model is bugging the hell out. Okay. Okay, someone's saying auto smooth. It might be an issue with the auto smooth. And so let's close this area real quick, and then under modifiers, let's see. Says it's supposed to be the first one on the stack. Is there a way I can like refresh to get it all? I'm sure you can, Michael, but the problem is can you get it in at scale? Because this model has some issues that I want to fix and get rid of. Because I don't like these bays that... oh, God, it's all... buggy as hell. These bays just use an image. Like they're from the, I want to say, Halo Infinite model or somewhere where they weren't supposed to be looked at really up close. There is a detailed model of these hangars, and I could go in and import that in here and then replace these with the actual hangar models, but that's going to be hell on the vertice limit and probably on Blender. So this ship, which is fun fact, the whole thing that started this entire project was I was like, hey, let's put the Spirit of Fire in Starfield because it's a really cool ship and people would like it. And then I was like, wait a minute, this ship is 2.5 kilometers long, which I don't know if you know this, boys and girls, is slightly bigger than the biggest ship in Starfield, just a little bit. These ships right here, these herons, are, oh god, I don't know, like, they are as long as a frigate is wide, I think, just about. They're pretty big because these things deploy the fire bases and other things like that. Mammoths, I think, too, or elephants, although I'm sure they would deploy mammoths as well. And he also has this thing on the bottom. He says he got, KRP got this model from Thingiverse, I believe. And the issue is that this little bit right here on the bottom is not supposed to be there. This is supposed to be just a empty glass and a viewport. Because that's where Serena has her, or not Serena, it's where Professor Anders has her lab set up on this bottom with the glass bottom and the viewport, because she likes it for her lab. It adds perspective. And then there's also supposed to be some windows here, I think, because this is supposed to be the combat bridge, I believe. I don't remember. I'd have to go look at the Spirit of Fire schematics. They're also very conflicting, because there's the original. Oh, I didn't even notice these. There's the originals from when Halo Wars 1 came out, and then Halo Wars 2 came out, and then there was some extra stuff, and they moved where certain things were supposed to be. I don't know what the hell these things are. I don't think these are supposed to be here. And the other problem, the big problem with this model, is that it has the bridge in a really weird thing where it's right here. Because if you, this is going to take forever with how laggy this is. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's got the, quote unquote bridge right here in this section, but it's not. The bridge is supposed to be up in here. This whole area right here, this is the bridge. I don't know what the heck's going on there. Other than that, I would say this model's mostly fine. I'm looking at it and it doesn't seem to have any of the coil gun placements, like the Spitfires, I think, are the specific type of coil gun. Those seem to be missing. And So I will have to go and find a decent model for those, and I can strap them on here. And those can be the main batteries, and I can get rid of these little tiny turrets here. But other than that, and like the shading issue, which I'm gonna look into. Ooh, I just noticed these engines, and I can totally use these engines and engine textures on some other UNSC ships. Other than that, this will be easy to cut up into sections so they fit under the vertice limit, and then you know, it's fairly hollow interior, and I mean obviously most of the ship is still going to remain empty. Probably only going to have a few like sections of the ship. Oh my god, if I can get my shift key to work with this awful lag. So like the bridge section, and then let's look at viewpoint. Like the bridge section, and then an elevator that goes down, and then like some sort of main like munitions, and you know, the crew quarters and the galley, you know, stuff like that. And then hangars down here. I do want to have the little viewport area down here at the bottom. I want to try and look into like teleporting doors on a player-owned ship. I don't know if anyone's tried that or if it's even possible. Otherwise, it'll be one long-ass elevator ride from here all the way to here somewhere, and then another long section here, and then another long-ass elevator ride all the way down here. Other than that, I mean, it'll have a lot of the typical ship system stuff, you know, engineering, HABs, stuff like that. Even though, you know, the engines are all the way back here, the reactor and the slip space drive are right about here. And so you can put engineering somewhere in this main area. And then these big things right here are Pelican hangars primarily. So I don't know what's going on with all this stuff. All right here. Let's see what happens if I get rid of the auto smooth thing. Yeah, see, that didn't really do anything. The mirror effect doesn't do anything. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what all is causing these issues. The only other alternative to this would be to, let's see, don't save that. Let's get rid of all this stuff. Would be to use another model from Sketchfab that is a little rough. And it's not as graphically well off and would require more greebling work and some texture stuff. Let's go ahead and log in with Google. Let's download the GLTF. Might end up downloading the GLB, but we'll see. Depends on how nicely this wants to participate. Extract. Age of Reclamation stuff. Ships. Extract. Import. GLTF. Wow, even the GLTF, it's Jesus. Okay. So as you can see, not as pretty as the other model. This was actually made for, see, it's doing this again. This was made for the Project Stardust, which is on Roblox, and this is an outdated model. I've tried to talk to them about getting their updated models, and they said that they would get back to me about them, and then they never did. So, but this the flight deck is a lot better looking, I would say, on this one, because it's actually a clear path for the pelicans and short swords and other things like that. There's no textures I'll need to get rid of in these sections where the hangars are supposed to be, but there's nothing there right now to begin with. There's a whole lot of extra bits that I will have to work on this model, because as it stands, it's separated very oddly. Like, the way this thing was made for Roblox Studios is interesting, to say the least. So I may end up going with this one just because it's it'll be easier to clean it up and cut it up and texture it and greeble it and all that fun stuff. And the only thing I'll go back and I'll take some stuff from the other model, like the engine textures I really like. I'm not sure how the textures from that ship would look on this. It's the same shape, but there's probably enough differences that it won't look right. Plus, on this, what I actually like is that the bridge is correct. There's even proper glass and windows where the bridge is supposed to be. And then down here, they have the windows for where the combat bridge is supposed to be, and they have the observation deck where it's supposed to be. So, I mean, they both have pros and cons. I like the overall design differences of this one better, only because it's got things in the right place. But it's a lot rougher of a model and will require cleaning up and texturing. I mean, the texturing won't be too hard. If I really need to, I can just get some, standard military plating textures like what I did with the Punic. Let's see. I think this will, yeah. Like, I need to go in and edit them and, get it all cleaned up. Let's see, can I close this area? There we go. I want to use a different plating texture, but this model looked just like the other one where it was all basic and, plain. It's an outdated model for a Roblox game, but the Roblox game has newer, nicer textures and models. I do not want. I just saw your message in the Starfield modding Discord server. Well, see, I had all these really nice weapon packs that I sent off to 510 Deshawn, who is working on all the Call of Duty mods and the other weapons and armor and other stuff for Starfield. Because he asked about it and he was interested in it, and I sent him a whole bunch of stuff, but then he was having issues with some things that weren't working right. Like he was saying, certain weapons weren't translating over well, and certain armor he couldn't get to work. And so unfortunately, I haven't had a whole lot of time to try and get that fixed. And then we added in I was talking to this guy Cole Triadu, who's made some weapon mods for Starfield, and he seemed interested. But he said he was working on something else, and that was about a month ago. So unfortunately, that's where I'm at on that front. Overall, I like this plating. The only thing I don't love is like the coloring. I feel like this is too light, and I want it to look darker. And then obviously, you know, it's got some issues right here on these angled pieces where it doesn't look super great. Excuse me. So I gotta come in and mess with that stuff. I also wanted to take the Punics and add some frigate models onto the bottom of them somewhere, because the Punic, which was the Infinity before the Infinity, it's the UNSC's original supercarrier, had the ability to carry 4 frigates underneath it in this wing section right here. So I'd want to get that squared away, clean up some of this stuff here, add different plating sections. I think I have 2 different plating textures on here, but I don't remember where the differences were. Like, let's see. Yeah, I got them from somewhere, and I don't remember where I had them from. I'd have to go back into my messages with Alex, and he pointed me to a website where they have a whole bunch of these kinds of things. And then Punic still needs some work on it, but I want to get the Spirit of Fire done before that stuff, and I want to get the Pillar of Autumn done before I get the Spirit of Fire done. Let's see here. And then I still need to figure out what all I'm going to do with this. This is my Dreadnought concept. I still need to figure out how I'm going to fill out these bays. I haven't touched this in probably a couple months. I've been working on a whole bunch of other stuff, writing some things, other Blender models, engines I still want to mess with. I don't just like these open tubes with nothing connected to them. I want to get better engine textures here. Clean up these models a little bit. Overall, I'm happy with the shape of it. The general design's gone through a bunch of different iterations. How I want these weapons to work, I have no clue. I think I want to have one giant Mac and then some big ass lasers on the front here, or a giant laser and two big ass Macs. You know, I'm not really too sure. I've got these slanted holes in this caddy corner section here that I want to use as like cruiser bays. So this thing's significantly larger than the Infinity, and I want it to be able to deploy 6 cruisers, or at least, you know, that's the idea. In game, you know, all that won't be animated or anything like that, but and then the bridge, if anyone wants to take a gander and a guess as to where the bridge on this giant thing is going to be, is almost hard to spot, because the idea for the bridge anyway is it's this little thing here. With this big cover above it. And though it looks small, it would actually be the largest bridge of any UNSC ship. And then, at least the idea is that it sits on this tracked platform, and so if need be in combat situations, it can actually go into the ship, because it's a big problem for UNSC ships, is having a very exposed, highly vulnerable bridge. And then it can also come out the bottom. At least that's the concept, that's the design I had for it, as sort of like a secondary viewport sort of thing. I want to have like more hangars in here in these sections, and frigates and deployable ships and things like that down here, where the bridge will be able to look at them. This thing would be pretty large. I mean, I keep toying around with the idea of about 10 kilometers. It'd be the largest ship the UNSC has ever fielded. It'd be part of the alternative timeline, where if you make the right decisions, the UNSC can come back and go on the offensive, and their industry starts building up, and you make certain decisions where you have the resources to field something like this. And my keyboard is messing up again. Initially, I started by using the concept and the design of the ship called the Odyssey. In Halo, it was the first colony ship. It was massive. If you can find concept art of it, there's no like definitive scales or sizing or anything like that, but from the one picture we have of the Odyssey, it looks like it's at least 3 times as long, if not 4 times as large, as the Phoenix class colony ships, which the Spirit of Fire is a refit of, which would make it significantly larger than the Infinity. Given that the Infinity is about twice as long as a Phoenix colony ship. I mean, this thing was massive. And in lore, like most colony ships, the Odyssey was broken down and used to create the colony on Reach. But I figure, hey, you know, it's Halo, and Oni doesn't tell everybody everything all the time, so maybe not all of the ship was broken down, and enough of the frame and materials remained that the UNSC could field a large, you know, like a battle carrier type thing, a super battle carrier or something. A dreadnought type ship. Anywho, let's see what other models I have. I was working on making some kit bashes for space stations based on ones you'd see in the Sins of the Prophets mod from Choke Point Games. And hopefully I still have, let's see, not actually ships. I do not seem to have. Well, that's potentially upsetting. Okay, now I do still have it. Alright. Oh, this is gonna be a real nightmare to load in, I'm sure. This station's gonna have a pretty sizable interior. Although probably not the whole thing. I mean, I'm probably just gonna have it how it is in Halo 2, where it's just one large section is, like one side of it is playable. Or one large section right here. This is actually modified from the, if you can tell, Mac platform station, because it's supposed to be a what's it called? I don't remember the actual name of it, but it's a broadcast station. In Sins of the Prophets, there's going to be a whole middle section, and I can show you what that's starting to look like as well. Hopefully main, I believe that's it. Still needs a lot of work on it. this will be the main body, and then it'll be surrounded by those rings from the Cairo station. And this is based off the design from Sins of the Prophets. And oh man, hold on. Oh, I think some of the textures might have gotten messed up from having it from an older Blender version. See, this is what I hate. What happens is when you take something from that was made in an older Blender version and you plug it into a newer Blender version, and then it just messes up. Because all these textures are not supposed to be like that. Or maybe they are and I'm tripping. It's hard to tell. No, the shading still seems off. I don't know. It looks a little bit better now, but anyway, I'll figure that out. What's causing some of that weird glare and shading issues. Yeah, so the primary section of this, I started with one section from the anchor station from Halo Reach, and I duplicated it, and then I've been connecting it at the middle and kind of cleaning that up, making it look all pretty. Still need to go in here and finish cleaning up some of this stuff. I mean, you won't really be able to see any of this, but I want to clean it up regardless. And so, Commando, I'll show you what it is I'm trying to do here. Let me see. Arastu Broadcast Station, that's what it's called. So let's... So if you'll check the general chat right now, that's what it looks like in Sins of the Prophets. So you can see the core of the structure. Looks like these buildings here resembles a anchor station. And then it's surrounded by a structure that looks like the support bracket, like ring section, I guess, if you want to call it, like the docking and the main part of the defense platform, the Mac cannon. And then, let's see here. I also have got this, which you may recognize, Commando. I think Alex has a version of this. He might have gotten rid of it. I don't remember. Where he's changed up the textures some. But this is the satellite from Halo Reach. Same Long Night of Solace mission. And these look like docking bays. That's weird to have that door right there. Oh, it's like a panel of some kind. Okay. Still weird. So these look like they're supposed to be like docking bays or something, like doors that open into a central structure, maybe for like a Pelican or a different maintenance vehicle. And these things are likely supposed to either protrude outward for a vehicle to dock, or these panels like fold flat so that something can dock right here, because that's a docking bay door. And these are all original Halo Reach textures, which is why Alex went back and retextured some things. And I think he put a different texture on the solar panels as well. And then I also, from the same mission, something that was actually really hard to find for most people, is I have these lovely things. Now that I have the MCC again, I can actually download Reclaimer, so I can go back and look for those broken pieces of ship that were being, like frigates that were being worked on by these stations. But these things, all the textures being messed up here is because they're just overlaid with all the different letters. Like, if you hide them all, then you'll get clean textures. And then I don't know why those look weird like that. Yeah, I don't know what's up with... It might just be the version of Blender I'm using being a new version of Blender. But a lot of these things that were made in older versions seem to have weird shading and texturing issues. And I have no idea how to fix that without just going back to an old version of Blender. Also, fun fact, these joints, the texture for these joints on these arms is literally just missile pod. It's the missile pod cover that's on the frigates and the Pillar of Autumn in Halo Reach, which is funny. But they just put those on the arms for joints. So. And then, you know, here are your little viewport areas and your whole support structure. I mean, these things are pretty dang big. I probably want to, if I can just get shift to work. Lord help me. Take like this door right here or something and replace it with a dock of some kind, or probably something on this side, like a big docking bay section right here, because I want it to, and then it'll have in game. I want it to have like the other side as well. So this is just one side, and then the other side is a separate blend file because that's just how they came in Halo Reach's files. They're separate things. They're not both one object. So this is dock, the space dry dock left, and then there's the right one. And so I'll have them, close to each other as one object, and that will be the space station that you go to have like ship upgrades and repairs and stuff done, and how I want to look at doing internal structures, because obviously for Halo ships you can't go in and mix and match parts on the ship, because it's way too messy to try and have a system done like that, where you take like a Halcyon's engines and then slap a frigate on the rest of it. Like, as funny as it sounds, it not only does it totally just ruin the immersion aspect, it'd be an absolute pain to try and get that all working correctly. So the goal as it stands now is that ships will not be customizable in the same way they are in vanilla Starfield, but it might have been either Michael or somebody else I was talking to. Might have been Silent. Somebody was talking about a way to, or maybe someone else from the Starfield modding server, a way for someone to edit the interior of the ship and how the layout is on the inside without changing the exterior of the ship. So like the layout of the ship will look the same, but the inside gets all changed around with presets. And that's what I want to do. And that was actually what I wanted to do before they even talked about doing that. And when they talked to me about that, I was like, hey, keep me updated on this, because this is what I want to do, actually. Something like this, where, a frigate still looks like the frigate, a Paris or a Charon or a Stalwart or whatever class of frigate, And yeah, I pronounce it Charon. Calling it Charon or whatever other way people say it sounds weird. It's like Cheyenne, not Cayenne. Cayenne is spelled differently. But you'll come to these stations and you can have your frigate still looks the same, other than potentially weapon loadouts might be the only exterior thing that I might look at changing. Like different frigates have different weapon loadouts, and you can change like missile pod loadouts, or your guns and all that stuff, your point defense turrets, things of that nature. And for the interior, I want to have a menu set up so that maybe you don't focus so much on large crew amenities, so crew quarters aren't as spacious and luxurious. Things are a lot more tightly spaced, and so you've got different habs, like a larger or a different upgraded engineering bay, or different weapons rooms if your frigate is more focused on troop deployment, that kind of thing. or different weapons loadouts, and so you'll have different interior weapons systems and maintenance systems, depending on the different frigates or ships that you have, you know. Something like that, I think, for ship customization. And then obviously, you know, your crew complement and that kind of stuff. Or where, like if you're carrying troops, which most UNSC ships would carry troops on top of their crew complement, you know, how often you go see them or in what areas you see them, or specialists, or if you're carrying a contingent of Spartans or ODSTs or that whole nine. So yeah. Let's see. I'll go ahead and this is the concept. I'm probably going to get rid of these. Honestly, I've been going over this bottom section here with the plating, and I'm not too happy with how it's looking out. I liked the underlined section, but I don't know. I'm not loving it so much anymore. This is a battleship, probably a heavy battleship or a super heavy battleship concept that I've been toying around with, because the UNSC's Navy just isn't as well rounded out as it could be. God, my keyboard is starting to bug out. And I was toying with the idea of having these two separate Mac platforms. So like this will obviously be where the main Mac cannon system is set up, like a carrier or the larger ships where it's two twin Macs, one on top of the other. And then I also wanted to give it the smaller tri-mini-Mac array for rapid fire succession that the Spirit of Fire and other small ships have. And then obviously this is the bridge section I've been messing with. God, Blender is such a nightmare to navigate. And so that'll look better once I start fleshing this out, cleaning it up, making it slightly less blocky, and texturing it and all that stuff. Big old bulky sections. I want to load the sides of these flat sections with like breakwaters and other large cannons, and then put some I've been testing a new big brother to the breakwater, and I'm calling it the Bastion. Probably something like the Mark III Bastion, or something Mark V, or something like that, which is a quad-barreled rotary coil gun turret, big boy, and those will probably sit like in the middle or on the top sections right here, and then I'll probably do something else with the middle. Probably big old missile bays right here or something like that. And then probably a couple small hangar sections down here. I mean, it's a large ship. You can't just not have hangar sections. But I don't want it to be too overpowered, so they probably won't be, you know, long swords. They'd probably be like Basilards or Nandows or something. Probably Basilards. And then Pelicans, obviously. Small contingent of that, but I wanted to give this thing some nice beefy armor. And try to separate it out from looking like a cruiser. And I was trying to keep the World War II influence type of design with the spinal mounted turrets and all that. And how in World War II battleships look more similar to cruisers than carriers, but in size differential, obviously battleships are significantly bigger than cruisers. So there's that. Still early. Still need to finish that block out, and then I can go in and start touching up. This all starts from a single, like, let me show you. Love it when Blender works when I want it to. Come on. There we go. I think it's my keyboard that's bugging out, not even Blender. My CPU might be having a nightmare. It just starts out as one of these things, and then I just start doing this to it. Until I get like a shape that I like, and then I'll take it into modeling and just start breaking off pieces, extruding other pieces. So this all started as one singular cube piece. The only thing I added in was the cylinders for these 3 barrels. Well, it was one cylinder, and then I duplicated it twice, made it spread out evenly, and then started working on it and extruding it and all that stuff. So there's that, and then let's see, and then this is my first try at trying to make a Covenant ship from scratch. I wanted to try and do that RSO Covenant Dreadnought concept that was made by GC, and it's a little ugly. If I'm being honest with myself, it ain't pretty, but for my first time doing this, it's not too bad. From concept, from just working off of one singular angular picture. And then, so I'm trying to learn how to make some of these smoother bits. And what I did to do this was I just made a bunch of rings, and then changed scales on them, and then started bridging areas between them, stretching them out, adding layers to them, and smoothing them, and then I'll connect them all into one singular piece, and then filling in these areas here. So I mean, overall not too terrible for having never. I don't know what is up with that line in that crease. For having never done anything like that before. But, I mean, obviously, not great. The shape is fine, especially on this back end. I feel like the shape is pretty good, but I am not experienced enough in Blender to have made something, that looks half decent. Especially when half of this is interpretation, because again, you only see the picture at this like weird kind of angle like this. So it's hard to tell you know, what the back engines look like, and you know what the underside is going to look like. You know, I'll try to take influence from some Covenant ships like the CAS and CSO and do something like that. But other than that, oh, here's the coil gun I'm working on. I mean, overall, I'm pretty satisfied with this. This actually has come out pretty well. You know, I've added some armor bits here. I might clean up some of these sharper angles here. Add a couple extra contact points so it's not as sharp, but I wanted to keep the like hexagonal shape design to separate it out from the breakwater and the other blockier turrets that are just cubes essentially. And then give it these really nice muzzle brake looking bits here at the tips of the guns. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with how that's coming out. Beyond that, God, there's just a slew of different stations and ships that I've got to... One, I have to re-download a lot of those models because I lost them all in my lovely little incident where all my data and everything got totally wiped, and which is why I decided I should build my own system, because right now, or before I had my own computer, I was sharing my fiance's laptop, and she was using it more often than I was getting access to it because she uses it for her work stuff and her own like personal games and things like that. So just wasn't a system that was working out super well. Let's see. I haven't looked at this in a while. Let's see how this looks. Oh, not too bad. This, if any of you have played either Sins of the Prophets or Halo 4, will know. This is the Spring Hill class mining ship, and it's pretty dang big. They're quite massive. I mean, the entire multiplayer section of Halo 4 takes place in just one small section of this giant tube right here. But it was all messed up. I need to come back in and give this better textures because I just copied textures from one thing and slapped it on here. And I've modified the engine design from how Sins of the Prophets did theirs. I probably want to come in here and edit this a little bit. Actually, I think Alex touched this up some and then gave me back a different Blender model, and I hadn't downloaded it since then. And I think he's changed this so that this looks more round and is a little bit cleaner. And the reason it looks like that is because I literally just took the map from Halo 4, which was just this section right here. It was just half of a top section of a ship. And then I did my best to copy it over, clean up some of the extra bits, and duplicated it and spun it around on the bottom section. So it looks a little something like that. And I'll probably, and I think Alex already did, get rid of this whole bridge section here on the bottom, so that it's just just this bit right here with the engines and all that. I don't know why it looks like that. Anyway. And then this won't be a pilotable ship, and it's obviously not a military vessel, but I can tell you... Oh, what the heck is that? Didn't notice that before. That's not supposed to be there. I can tell you that these ships will be very, very important to the war effort, especially in the non-canonical series of events for the story. You know, you find one of these, you better do your darndest to make sure they stay intact and okay. Yeah, they're pretty important for materials with their gigantic forges. Anywho, it's been just about 2 hours now, almost, and this is pretty much supposed to be just a test stream anyway, so thank you guys for showing up, and I'll probably do this again Sunday, and we'll see how it goes from there. I'll work on the overlay stuff. I'll try to find some copyright-free music. I don't know. Rejected Shotgun has Halo music in his YouTube streams, and I don't know where he gets it from. It might be the same person Michael recommended to me, this guy who makes Halo music. So, we'll see. Anyway, you guys take it easy.